What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, Solana is in the ultimate code red right now. Of course, I issued you guys a code red 2 days ago. I said, hey, if we lose 1980 to 1984, we're probably going to start to capitulate. Be ready. And as you can see here, the moment that we came back down below 1984, all hell broke loose, and we are now down from that point about 12%. Now, I did tell you all that it would be a decent short trade to open up if we did lose this level. So if you are up 12 to 20% depending on your leverage, congrats to you. But let's talk now about what we can expect next and how I am expecting this move to the downside to play out. Now, the first major thing that I want to point out is the loss of the 20 simple moving average on the weekly charts. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and try to pump your heads with hopium. This is not good, okay? Now, Solana very well may recover it, and of course, we've lost it before, and by the time we got the weekly close, we did get back above it. But if that does not happen here, and we start getting weekly closes below this 20 SMA, we could be in a position to really continue back to the downside. You look at the chart history for Solana, these moments where we go below that 20 SMA or get rejected off of it usually lead to capitulation, right? They usually lead to capitulation. And if that is the case, obviously the bottom of the Bollinger Band envelope is sitting around $5.76 right now. Not to say we're going to go that low, but considering the fact that it does align relatively close with this previous point of liquidity, it's not out of the question that we do set that new lower low. Now, there is a lot that is going to happen in between here and there, so I'm not going to worry you. I'm not going to make you too concerned. I do believe that we do have a fair shot at seeing a bounce here and not coming back down to those lower levels, but it is something you need to be aware of. Now, looking at Solana from a more zoomed in perspective, let's talk about what you need to expect. Well, obviously we have this double top playing out, and structurally speaking, the breakdown target from this double top is right around roughly $14.50, which does line directly, and I mean perfectly, with this $15 level back down here, which was all of this liquidity that we had previously seen. So at this given point, although I do believe that it is very possible we get some type of short-term bounce here, that we could see Solana go as low as $15, and I definitely would rather be expecting that unless for some reason it shows me otherwise. If you look at something like the daily RSI here, although we have nosedived, we still do have a little bit of room to work to the downside, and when we get this low, we usually will venture a little bit closely more down into it, and so I do believe that Solana may have a little bit more room to the downside to go. I wouldn't necessarily be opening up any short trades at this given point, simply because we do have a little bit of liquidity here, which could bounce the price back up, look to establish a bit of a trend line before this does continue back downwards, and some sort of if we looked at it from more of a realistic perspective, like an A, B, C correction to the down wave, and you don't want to necessarily get caught shorting this thing as we put in a B wave. So I wouldn't say be super confident with a short trade, especially on high leverage, but expecting that this will continue towards the downside and planning some purchases and limit orders around this $15 level would be an absolutely fantastic idea. But on the flip side, I will say that I'm not really expecting Solana just yet to come back down towards these lower lows. I'm not really all that convinced that Solana is about to capitulate and lose this previous low that we put in around $8. Now, the reason being is because of all of the indicators telling us that this pullback will last not the most amount of time. You look at the daily RSI, for example, it is already near 30. Generally speaking, this is around the level where we will start to get a bounce. Look at this. Typically, the 23 levels on the daily RSI is where we get a bounce. We bounced right there, and right there, and right here, and right here. And we're very close, okay? And so realistically, I mean, this thing would have to absolutely nosedive straight through these levels or start giving us a massive divergence to go below 23. I just don't necessarily see it happening. And so because of that, one of two things is going to happen. We're either going to get a reversal at this level, or even if we continue a little bit further down, we should get some type of bounce on the daily charts off of this level to give us a bit of a relief rally, form some structure, and really tell us what is going to happen next, whether it looks like that or whether we then start to go back to the downside. But I don't believe that this move that we're seeing right now is about to be this, this absolute capitulation straight towards these lower lows down here. And so I'm not all that concerned. So although in the short term, I am expecting a little bit more of a pull to the downside, and it wouldn't shock me at all to revisit these $15 levels, I'm not going to start screaming that Solana's dead and the whole world is going to end for Solana, because I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think we have a lot of liquidity here, and there's a very, very strong chance that we do get some type of support and a bounce, which will then put us in position to really start to try to work our way out of this situation over the the next couple weeks, okay? So obviously this is a result of Bitcoin itself crashing all the way down to the lower $20.5 thousand levels. I think that might come all the way back down to 18.5, which aligns pretty similarly to Solana coming back down towards these, $13, $14 levels. So to me, I think that this is a pretty simple retracement, and until I get confirmation that this is anything other than that, I'm not going to get too concerned for Solana at this given point. Now, the moment in which I personally would get quite concerned is if we lose this Fibonacci retracement zone to the bottom side, which is currently sitting right around $10.40. If this level is lost, understand one thing: we are very likely coming back down towards $6 to $5. And although I don't think that's going to happen, it is on the table. And so while we are testing some of these lower points of support, I'm not all that concerned. But the moment that 1040 level gets lost, this previous point of support, we are in quite a bit of danger, okay? So of course, I am still bullish on the mid to long terms here. I think that there is a high chance that we do get some type of bounce to the upside, even if it means it's coming down another 10%. But in the short term, guys, expect some type of red, especially as this market tries to figure itself out, okay? So that's it for the rest of today's video. I just wanted to calm some nerves down a little bit. This is still okay. We are still in a position in which we can see some type of support hold. And until we start to lose those very important levels, I'm not going to start screaming from the rafters just yet. But I will continue to update you. I'm posting another update on Solana in my newsletter. It's a free newsletter. It is down below. So make sure you subscribe to that. And I will see you all very soon. Peace.